One of my favorite quotes is, "Will there also be singing in the dark times? Yes, there will be. About the dark times." By Bertolt Brecht. Welcome back to Sweet Infinity. Today I'll be doing a reading from the Tarot of Mystical Moments deck by Katrine Wellstein. I have the cards here already. I've already shuffled them, but I will do it again. Please remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and hit the little bell icon, which will help notify you, hopefully, every time that I put a new video out. I've also been rethinking... Ooh, Two of Wands. Okay, interesting. That is very relevant to what I was just going to say, which is that I have been rethinking the way to go forward into this channel's development. And I think I want to do more readings. I was doing readings every day for about a month. That was a challenge that I was involved in. And then I decided to go to once a week, but I think I'd like to go back to maybe twice a week. Let me know if you would like more card readings, or if you are enjoying the free form content or the meditation content more, or if I can continue to do a blend of those for you. Let me know what it is that you get the most out of, whether it's the card readings for this type of reading where I'm reading multiple cards from the same deck, or if you want me to delve more into teaching about tarot and the interpretations, especially the way that I do it, which is a combination of traditional but also Jungian archetypes, as well as some myths and stories and legends and philosophies from around the world. But I would like to do more card readings. And so the Two of Wands, which is usually the card for having to make choices and looking forward to the future, and just before you hit publish, just before you take the step that you need to take to go to the next phase of your life, it's a good card for that. Today, let's read about what's coming up for you in the next 6 months or so. I'm going to leave it open in terms of what kind of area of life. I'll let the cards decide. I'll let you decide. If you are seeing this video, this was meant for you. So welcome back, and let's do another reading. Ooh, King of Cups. Interesting. The King of Cups, huh? So when a card comes out like that, it's a good idea to pull it because it's trying to tell you, hey, look at me, look at me. King of Cups. That's a nice... I love this deck because the artwork is just so surreal and the quality of the cards is great. But see how the King of Cups, he's holding this boat, and then there's these fish and ocean inside of him. And this one, it's this woman sitting on the roof looking up at the sky, at the stars, holding the whole world in her arms. Just beautiful imagery in this deck. King of Cups is usually about being fully in touch with your emotions, being very much able to channel your emotions, and being friends with your emotions, and being healed from trauma, and being able to alchemize your trauma and some of the terrible things that you might have seen or experienced or been part of in any way, and using them to help other people navigate. So if you see there's all this water, all this stormy weather and sharks and all kinds of... So he's got it in his belly, but he is able to create this boat to help others navigate through these stormy waters. So of course these are not gendered in terms of their meaning. They're only represented as genders or however they're represented, but these are universal archetypes. And so he represents anyone of any gender, age, race, whatever, who has learned to use their emotional raw matter, the stuff that made you angry, that made you scared, that made you worried, and create something that actually helps them and others. Because remember, a boat carries many people, right? And creatures of all kinds. So he's able to, like Noah, protect people and himself and help others navigate the very things that almost drowned him. So this is a very beautiful, powerful card. And then this card is about, as I said, looking forward and having all this potential. This world is full of potential. There's so many things going on. So she has to make a choice. She has to decide to go forth and do it. This is just before she decides. This is just before she launches. Let's pick a few more cards and see what they're saying. The Lovers. Oh, that's nice. Interesting. I almost feel like these two are lovers. So the Lovers card could mean a romantic relationship, sure, but it also usually means integration, being able to come together and complement each other. And that could be in the context of an existing relationship or any other kind of friendship. It could also be in the context of your own inner aspects. So the Lover's card could also be about two sides of yourself coming together in a way that just blends and gels and works beautifully together. It could be that these two, the one who is maybe a little scared of her potential and the one who is learning to alchemize his own trauma, these are aspects of you where you know you have something to say, but you're not always sure how to say it. You're not always sure how to present it to the world, how to make something out of it, whether it's in a creative way or in a sense of creating some kind of business or app or something out of it. Whatever it is, I'm seeing that there is a synergy, a harmony that's in your future between these aspects. If you are able to remember that they're both aspects of you, that you do have the ability to take all this potential and all this raw energy and create something out of it, like a boat, like in the stars, and just go for it. Let's see what might be blocking you. Queen of Swords, a very fascinating card. So this is a card for someone who is extremely critical, discerning. Now, I can be very critical in my life, especially towards myself. So I know what that's like. She has a tendency to look at the big picture, the implications, and she comes from a good place. So she's very realistic, and you just cannot BS with her. She can see through you. In this deck, she's sitting on this balloon and it's above the trees here, and she's got this whatever thing that you can see far with. And so the idea is that she is above it. She is able to see things from a bird's eye view, literally, right? And it kind of disconnects her from the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is down here doing their thing, being normal or whatever that means. But she kind of has a tendency to sometimes maybe act a little superior to them, or come across that way anyway, even if she doesn't mean to. She is a necessary figure, because there are times in life when we need to be very discerning, very careful, even self-critical, because we're doing something that's wrong. And maybe people who are not self-critical at all tend to be very narcissistic and very limited in the scope of what they can do. And they tend to kind of hit a brick wall eventually in their life. To some extent, this energy is needed. You do need to look at yourself and be critical of yourself. But at the same time, if this goes too far, it can become another way to get in your own way, to paralyze yourself, to come up with more reasons not to do the things that you know you should be doing or want to be doing. So this might be what's blocking you. You are overthinking how to merge these two together. And the harmony is there, and you have it. Maybe you get glimpses of it now and then. But then there is this overthinking. What's the point? Does this even matter? Is anybody going to care about this? Am I not able to do this correctly? Maybe you're comparing yourself to others, and you have this perfectionism where you kind of are waiting for things to be perfect before you will step out of that comfort zone that you're in, because it's much easier to be critical of yourself than to put yourself out there and take the risk of getting criticized by others or rejected or whatever, right? Let's pick one more card. King of Pentacles. Interesting. A lot of court cards, huh? So we've got the Queen, the King, and another King here. So he's about hyper practicality, doing business, knowing what goes where, how things work, and being super realistic and pragmatist. He's also about abundance, and he doesn't really feel like the kind of scarcity that some of these other, like she feels, right? He has a sense of control over the physical world. He feels that he is able to get through anything that comes his way. And sometimes he might be a little cocky. He might think that he is more capable than he is. So in some sense, maybe this is kind of allowing you to tap into some of that energy, because a balanced life requires us to be in touch with all different aspects of ourselves. Having too much of any of this can throw you off. If you are too nervous and insecure, you're not going to do much in life. You're not going to achieve the dreams that you want. If you are too caught up in your own trauma and refuse to make something out of it that helps others and yourself as well, well, then all that trauma kind of paralyzed you in some way. And that's terrible. And I hope that you get the help that you need. But on some level, we have to decide, no, we're going to step out of this. We're going to do something that actually helps somebody else. Because in helping others, we are helping ourselves. That's the beauty of it. When you help someone else, it's actually amazing how much you get helped by the act of being helpful to others. Not in a transactional way, like literally go out there and help someone else and you will see how it affects you. So then we have the Lovers, and that's where you have this sort of alchemy, this coming together, this harmonizing of all of these different energies. You have the Queen of Swords, who is very critical, perfectionist, judgmental in some ways. And you have the King of Pentacles, who is the emperor of his castle, the one who is the boss. He's boss. And he's not afraid to be the boss. He knows that he is a good leader, and he believes that he can take whatever his endeavor is to the next level. Again, not a gendered thing. This could be a female, this could be a male, whatever. So these could be aspects of yourself, or it could be people in your life. There could be people who are very critical in your life, now or in the past, maybe somebody you're still holding on to in some way, or somebody who you might be comparing yourself to in a way that is not really helpful, because maybe you're thinking that you should have reached a certain milestone by this point. Maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's somebody you knew, maybe it's an old friend. Comparing yourself to them might make you feel more and more like you haven't reached the place where you wanted to go, or that you're not like them. And that's understandable. Everybody has that feeling sometimes. So I'm going to take out one more card. Let's see how it goes. Seven of Swords. So this is secrets. I feel like you've gotten a secret revealed to you recently, and you haven't quite processed it. Like you're still in the middle of it, and you haven't quite really sat down and thought about what this secret means. Could be something from your family's past. It could be something about your own childhood that maybe you have kind of compartmentalized because it would affect your worldview about someone that you used to treasure. And maybe you found out something that was not very nice about them. And I feel like on some level, I don't know why I'm getting that. I'm getting this sort of like this flowery image here. You see the tail of the snake, because this is like a snake, right? This is a card of secrets, sneaking around, some kind of backhanded deception type thing. But these flowers remind me of like a cabin or like a family home. Like there were family secrets that were probably recently revealed, maybe in the last year or so, and you haven't quite processed them yet. And I think that's actually one of the things that you need to do in the next few months, whether it's something that you found out about your family that is hard to process, because it's sometimes you find out things about people you love and you don't want to believe them. And that's understandable. A lot of people have that experience. So I'm going to give one more card. I know I keep saying that, but they just keep calling me. Eight of Wands. I love this deck so much. Look at the artwork there. Eight of Wands is about swiftness. You are going to have to make some decisions pretty quickly. And I'm thinking within the next 8 months. 8 months from when you see this. There's going to be a major change that will be changing your relationship to the secret that you discovered or that you were told. It's going to change how you see yourself. Instead of just seeing yourself as somebody who's not worthy or somebody who is not ready, I think you're going to find that you're going to end up seeing yourself as this. All your insecurity was based on something that was instigated by someone who was deceptive. And so once that breaks down, you no longer value what that person ingrained in you. You are able to be critical about that person and accept yourself and integrate with yourself the different parts of you. And it's going to happen quickly. In fact, it's already happening on a subconscious level. Maybe while you're sleeping, maybe while you're dreaming. I feel like that's going to start integrating soon. And that is why you came across this reading today, because you are supposed to accept this. And I would highly recommend that you start keeping a dream journal if you don't already, or you can even record your voice on your phone. There's voice recorders usually built into most phones. Keep track of your dreams, because your dreams have an answer for you about how to integrate this and to become a more self-reliant, self-confident version of yourself, because it's in there. Even this energy, it's trying to protect you. even some of the worst traumas that you experienced and the lies that you learned about yourself, those were there to protect you at a certain point in life. And once you figure out what were the causes of those experiences, what were the reasons that you were traumatized, you are able to let those things go and create a version of yourself, or get in touch with a version of yourself that is a lot more integrated, that is a lot more self-loving, that is a lot more harmonious. And that's the part of you that's coming up in the next, I would say, 8 months. But get in touch with yourself and your dreams and your subconscious. Do more journaling. Write down your dreams. Do some meditation. I hope that this has been helpful for you. Please do hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up if you liked this video. Leave me a comment. Anything you want to share, I'd love to hear from you. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And have a sweet infinity.